What's up, Madden Men of the People? ZFarls here with your Week 16 Team of the Week reviews. Let's get into it. Before we do that, talk a little bit about Brett Favre. We reviewed him in our last video. We talked about his gunslinger ability chemistry, and what we're seeing so far is his ability to beat the cover 2 defense, specifically the cross manning and fit throws into the seam because he has a very fast release due to the gunslinger, is really changing the meta of Madden 17. We'll continue to monitor that and get some gameplay up on the channel, so make sure to follow. But Malcolm Jenkins, one of the big strong safeties here in Ultimate Team for the week. Let's go through. There's also some new freeze items, and we're going to talk about those first. And did they do it again, or did they do it again? Sean Taylor, right outside linebacker. So now you've got Landon Collins dropping down from strong safety. On one side, Sean Taylor right here, 92 speed, 81 strength, low block shed, 84, but 94 acceleration and 95 hit power. Off the bat, you're playing him because the speed, the excel, and the hit power, that's what he does. You're going to have the Ali in there to get him up to 88 play rec, see if you can jump him over 90 with some freeze chem. Clowney and Taylor much stronger and much better in the block shed game, so they're better run defenders, but those two guys, Collins and Taylor, have zone coverage and a little bit of man, and the speed is going to do a lot of that work for you. So here he is with 93 speed, and he's up to 87 play rec. So he's looking super strong. 96 hit power, that's a good spot to be in. Compare him to Levante David, who's just not as fast. Better cover guy overall, better play rec, but the Taylor is going to just do tremendous things. This is a must-have item at almost every level. 50 cap is really, 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 really expensive, but I think you can make it work for what you want to do with your defense. You're just not going to find many guys like him in this game. You find a way to blitz this guy, and you blitz him all game long. At the end of this video, we're going to be talking about our Mount Rushmore of linebackers, and I don't consider linebackers, outside or inside. I consider them more pass rushers or coverage guys, and that's kind of how I break down linebackers. I think you need 5 or 6 really, really good ones on your salary cap team because they're just so versatile and you get great value that we've talked about in the past. Next up is Odell Beckham. He gets an out-of-position free safety, 86 play rec. 90 speed and basically 90 zone is very good, no hit power, but he's going to have good spectacular catch. That's really what you're going for. You'd have to probably user him to make sure he gets in position. I think this is more of a fun out of position than a meta definer like the Sean Taylor. So cool to see Odell at this position, but much like the Keenan Allen, it's a pass for me. Leonard Williams, great item. And this is without seeing his chemistries stacked, because when you start out at 95 block shed, 92 strength, 92 power move, he's always been a super budget guy, always one of the best sneaky players in Ultimate Team because he has the strength, the block shed, and the power move. That's the Trinity. That's 3 great ratings for defensive linemen. This is without the boost. You start out with 95 block shed. It's insane. He's going to get up there. The only thing you can really knock him on is that finesse move, but I'm not going to do it. And I think you potentially grab this guy now. He's no longer a budget guy. He's no longer a sleeper because he's a ghost. So you got to kind of factor all that in. You can still get cheap beef elsewhere, and you can move linebackers down, and you can get a lot of value. But overall, if you just want a plug-and-play guy, this Leonard Williams is going to get the job done for you. Dallas Clark has been playing amazing. He had a super early legend. 95 route running on a tight end is just insane. If you like to throw corner routes, you've got to get this Dallas Clark. 73 and 73 run block is not great, but it's pretty respectable, and you can always get a cheap guy like a Peters or a Penn or a Vance McDonald to block for you. But they don't make him like this, and he's going to hang on to the ball. I know people love the Dallas Clark. I couldn't really use him because I'm more of a height guy, but if you run corner routes, he is yours. I'm interested to see if we can get him to 96 route running to see if he gets a similar slant style that Antonio Brown gets with his rating there, because that would just be amazing from the tight end position. You're not going to see many guys get up that high. Check our old videos for other reviews like the LaShawn McCoy flashback and others. Now, Team of the Week 16, Michael Thomas from the Dolphins gets a free safety. This is not a item that you're going to really utilize. Just doesn't do anything specific or anything special at a high rate. J.J. Nelson, 93 speed. I've been wanting a Team of the Week for this guy for quite some time. I was thinking it could be 94, but it is 93. That makes him, not the fastest in the game. Brandon Cook's probably better all around. But if you need a super cheap, fast receiver, I think this Nelson's going to end up fitting what you want to do. I don't know if there's many plays that you can just simply burn defenses over the top anymore, but this would be the guy to try it with, and a great guy to keep in your back pocket if you see something from the defense. Tiny Titan grabs an item. This was one of the best man cover middle linebackers in all of Ultimate Team last year. One of the best budget MLBs. Still super good with 6'2" height, 87 speed. His man's a little lower than I recall, but he does still have 85 zones. So if you need a coverage guy, budget 26 cap, the Kirksey is somebody you definitely want to look into. Shout out to the Browns on their first win. DeAndre Washington here. I'm going to pass on a 90 speed halfback with elusive 89, but only 87 agility. I like to see the agility higher than the speed on elusive style backs. Jarius Byrd used to be amazing. He used to have incredible zone coverage. He was always a little bit slower, but he had such good play rec and such good zone. Here he gets to 90. Just hasn't had enough items over the course of the season to really be a force, but the 87, 87, you can see that balance, and if he can continue to make some plays in the future, he could be a guy that could get back in there. Adam Thielen, the receiver, had a monster fantasy day. He gets an 89 speed item with 89 route running, 90 spec, 91 catch in traffic. And there's just too many receivers right in this area, so unless he fits your chem or does something that you would need, I think you can find probably better overall value. But quite a day. And a good blend, it's just that there's a lot. So you probably already got somebody that does something that he does similar. Blake Bortles, 80 speed, but no ability chemistry, and you can't pay 50 cap for a quarterback with 85 deep and less than 92 throw power. So Bortles is a guy you guys love to chirp me about how great he is in fantasy. He also had a good day in the finals, but my feeling is if your quarterback was Blake Bortles all season, you probably weren't in the fantasy finals. Sorry. Gerald Hodges, 85 speed, MLB. A lot of MLBs out there. 86 play rec. Good pursuit. Good hit power, just an all-around solid 34 cap. But the way the game plays, in my opinion, you want a faster player. You can sub in more OLBs. You get a lot more value from them than MLBs, so I would pass on the Hodges. But super nice, solid budget item. Kelsey, 93 overall tight end. Now, he is many people's favorite tight end in Ultimate Team, especially if he's a budget option. Kelsey and Eifert, they love him. They love him out there in Ultimate Team land. 88 speed, 86 route running, which is a little bit low. I'd prefer the Dallas Clark, but he's a different type, right? Clark, speedy route runner. They both have the same speed, and at 6'5" with 93 catch and traffic in that speed and cover 2 defense being so solid, you put this guy in a streak. He's not going to be your corner route guy, but he is big. And if you get him chemmed up, Dime here with the picture, 95. He's got the tier 2 route running. That's the chemistry I like to see. Big time right here, 6'5", 95 catch in traffic for the seam throws. That's how you're going to best use Kelsey in his size at the 44 cap. So a really good option. I know Jimmy Graham's always popular in Ultimate Team, but that's one way you can go. Malcolm Jenkins, 89 speed here, 93 zone coverage, only 82 hit power, but look at that man coverage hidden in there. 82 man coverage makes me think of the 3 best safeties. Let's take a look. So everyone loves the Kraus because he's a great coverage guy. He can't really tackle or hit people, but that's okay. Cam Chancellor, less coverage, but actually super fast for Cam Chancellor. Good size, and then some of the best hit power, and people say he plays super, super well. This Jenkins, kind of a blend. I didn't love him at first glance, but now looking at kind of the whole toolkit with the man coverage, with the play rec up there, I think you're going to get some pretty good value, and I bet his price will settle at something pretty reasonable, so I'm actually a fan of the Jenkins, even though he picked off Eli. Probably like twice. Anyway, Ryan Shazier had 10 tackles, and this brings us to, what is the Mount Rushmore of middle linebackers? When I clicked on this Shazier and it said 90 speed, I was like, wow, I'm surprised he's not like faster like 92, because I had just seen the Sean Taylor at 93, and that's where my gauge was, right? But I did some exploration, and we're going to take a look. But he's 6'1", that's always kind of the knock on Shazier. He's always the fastest middle linebacker, but he's never the tallest, right? So 80 zone coverage, 92 hit power, very, very good. 87 block shed, 90 speed, 92 pursuit, 89 play rec, which you can boost with a motivator, Ali, and you're going to be using him most of the time anyway. So 90 speed is the fastest MLB, and I had to kind of reset my whole MLB threshold. But actually, so I dug into Mudhead and I said, well, who else could you use? Could you use Eric Reed out of position, or the Deion Buchanan with hot hands, and kind of sub in this Ryan Shazier? I mean, that's basically where you're going if you don't want to spend all the coins on this Shazier. I believe these are all 88 speed middle linebacker options. And then I went, well, what about outside linebacker at about 87 speed or higher? You see that Bruce Irvin, that Gibbs really likes pop in, and of course Zach Brown band. Then you fan it out a little bit more. You get a Bud Dupree involved as a user. You get the Mark Barron, who's really, really good man coverage. Then you start to see up top the Landon Collins. Right here, if we look at the Zach Brown and the Mark Barron, these are the best man coverage guys available with the blend of speed. With Shazier, the question you need to ask yourself is how much speed is worth how many inches of height? How much 87 speed Barr, who is 6'5", is worth the 90 speed of Shazier? It's an age-old question. I believe so much in positioning and those, catching the interceptions above the head that I just can't ever really go away from the height. But what I'll say about Barr and what makes him, to me, the best user in the game is his agility. Now, the Shazier has his agility, so I've got to give him a shot and just see if height is still as important. But here are some really good other options if you can't afford the Shazier. Good other coverage, style, speed, linebackers. Don't say, oh, he's middle, he's outside. Just think of it as one pool. With all that being said, the new Sean Taylor, Landon Collins, Anthony Barr, and Brian Urlacher are on my Mount Rushmore of best linebackers in the game. Now, you might say, well, where's Clowney? Where is Lawrence Taylor? I'm going to put those guys as pass rushing players that play down on the D-line. So these are more of my coverage style guys. Urlacher, Barr as user, Collins, Taylor for manning people up. And that is my Mount Rushmore of that type of linebacker. Let me know in the comments your Mount Rushmore, and if you say Farls, I wanted to see just middle linebackers, not outside linebackers. Well, you're watching the wrong channel, because this is a channel to help you get better, find value, find deals, improve your lineup, improve your game, and keep your coin balance somewhat in the positive. Therefore, you got to think differently, and that is the best way to get the best value in your lineup. Let me know in the comments, and until next time, guys, ZFarls, lock up.